Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Biome podcast, a space for nurturing the ecosystem of business, body, and living. What would it be like if you gave your body a leadership role in your business and chose greater happiness every day? These are the conditions that create a healthy biome and a thriving business. I'm your host, Heather Nichols, and I'm so happy you're here. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Biome podcast. I am coming to you this week I'm actually in the middle of doing a free 7-day adventure. You're invited to join if you haven't already, into the Access Consciousness tool, Who Does This Belong To? And this tool is absolutely epic, life-changing, and also one of those tools that people kind of go, yeah, it's not mine. I get it, and they don't give themselves the true gift that the tool can be. And for me, that was the case for a very long time, many, many, many years, until I actually was like, I'm going to really, truly explore this and see what it's like to function from this and to use this tool the way that it's really intended to be used. And I wonder also what else I can discover about it. So if you're not familiar with it, who does this belong to? It's actually a tool from Access Consciousness that you get I believe you get it in the bars class, which is the very first class that most people take. There's other ways to play with the Access tools. But the Access Consciousness bars is an absolutely incredible hands-on technique where you put your hands on somebody's head or somebody puts their hand on your head, and and you touch these bars points very gently. And as you do, basically all of the electromagnetic energy of thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and just points of view that you have that aren't yours, so many things just dissipate and go and literally get deleted. And it's such a cool gift, the bars, because for me, like the first time I had my bars run, which is how we say, if you get a session, you have your bars run. The first time I had my bars run, well, first of all, I was like, bars, what is that? That's so weird. It should have like a more like foofy name, because it's basically hands-on energy work. But no, it shouldn't. It's perfect. But anyway, I was like, what is that thing? And then a friend of mine came over and ran my bars, and I said to her, I feel like you just poured bliss into my entire body and being. I want more of that. And that was the beginning for me. And so little side note about bars. And I'm very excited about it because Dr. Dane here, who's one of the creators of Access Consciousness, is doing a global bars class. The past few years, he's done one annually. That doesn't mean that there will always be one, but he's doing a global bars class in Mexico City. It's a one-day class, October 27th, 2024. So depending on when you're listening to this. And it will also be online, available all over the world. You can get together with other people and you learn this modality in a day. You gift and receive 2 sessions. It's very simple. It's very easy. There's nothing that you don't have to know anything about energy or energy work. You just put your hands there and you're like, wow, that's really cool. Things are changing. I'm just going to keep my hands here the whole time I'm talking to you because, I need my bars run. You can run your own bars. It's way more powerful when somebody else does it though. So anyway, that was a little digression there, but in that class, there's a lot of things that you learn, including the bars, but you learn this tool, Who Does This Belong To? And who does this belong to is based on the idea that, and the reality for a lot of people, that we are extremely aware, and our thoughts, feelings, emotions, points of view, the stuff running through our world is not necessarily ours. And so so it's the acknowledgement that we're constantly picking up on stuff all over, and we're constantly picking up on other people's stuff, and we are aware of it, but we're not taught to kind of like distinguish, what is awareness and what's actually my stuff. My stuff, we don't have that much stuff when it comes down to it. You may think you do. I certainly did for a very, very long time. Lately, after using this tool a lot more dynamically, I'm like, I don't really have issues. But you're not supposed to say that in the world, because then you would have to be really different, which is really what I wanted to talk about on this podcast. So when we start to acknowledge, wow, this isn't actually my anger, my trauma, drama, my upset, my depression, my anxiety. Anxiety can be a huge one. This isn't, I'm actually aware of anxiety. I'm aware of depression. I'm aware of anger. I'm aware of fear. I'm aware of trauma, drama. It's not, and then it's kind of like, is it true for me as an infinite being? Is it true? No. And that is also one of the 10 keys to freedom. I'm just throwing all kinds of tools at you today. I actually have the book right here, The 10 Keys to Total Freedom. This is an amazing book. You also get a deep dive into this in the Access Consciousness Foundation class. But one of the 10 keys to freedom is would an infinite being truly choose this? So the question, asking that question, and then you get to start to explore yourself as an infinite being, not as the person that you think you are, that you're probably not. And most of us are, if you're listening to this podcast, I mean, there's lots of different, sort of types of creatures in the world, let's say. If you're listening to this podcast, you may be somebody who's more of a seeker, somebody who has more of a sorry, I probably have a teenager walking behind me shortly, because no, I guess not. Okay. I'm like, he's supposed to be at school, but he just walked in the house. But if you're more of a seeker, more of somebody who's super distracted like me, who's fast and all over the place, yeah, you're gonna, part of what comes with that is you're very aware. You're an energetic being. You're very aware. You are an infinite being, and most of us have debilitated ourselves out of the capacities that come with being an infinite being, being a different person in the world, being a seeker, being somebody who functions from a different space. The world is organized to make people like us wrong. And then one of the things that we do, and I'm just going to use the word humanoid for those of you, a lot of you will be familiar with that word. Some of you may not be. Humanoids, that's just kind of like a word that we use in Access Consciousness to talk about people that are just different, function from a different place, a different space. And humanoids and X-Men is another like kind of extreme version of humanoid. Our world is energetic, but this reality, as we would call it, like the form and structure of the world, the solidity of the world, is organized in such a way to make all of that wrong. The energetic universe, the energetic world, make it all wrong and make us wrong. And we humanoids have a very strong tendency to make ourselves wrong, we don't tend to judge other people, we tend to judge ourselves. And then there are people that do tend to judge other people quite a lot, and don't judge themselves. So it's kind of a different orientation. But humanoids are like such incredible creatures, actually, like really here to be a contribution to the world, to create a different future, to have a different reality, to I mean, to me, I always like, one of the things that is very true for me is like one of the only things that really makes sense to me in this world is the earth, like the planet. Like I know that I'm here for the earth and the planet. And the people are kind of, a little bit of a something you got to deal with, And then there are some people that are wonderful, and those tend to be people that are interested in a different future, interested in a different possibility. So just, if this resonates with you, if there's a sense of like, like curiosity or lightness or leaning in a certain way, or you're like, yes, I know this is true for me. Keep listening, because there's like, the who does this belong to tool is actually for humanoids and X-Men, for people that have massive amounts of awareness. And we're taught and educated and trained into like human reality, which is not humanoid reality, to believe that it's all ours, And then there's a whole field of psychology, and there's a whole field of, all these different kind of like sciences that say, that address the issues that we have, like anxiety and depression and anger and things like that. I mean, I was a therapist for a long time. I was a body-centered psychotherapist for 13 years before I found these tools and found them to be faster, more dynamic, more effective, more fun in a lot of ways. And so I started doing access consciousness facilitation instead. But so I'm very familiar with that world. There's a whole book, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, that describes all of these mental health issues, and that says basically, here's how these things show up and how you can diagnose this. But in the diagnosis of anxiety, depression, all these different mental health issues, there's no recognition of the awareness of the person. When you have immense awareness, and we all are, like humanoids, I just speak to the humanoids, tend to be so much more aware than they realize. Let's just say that. Then they realize. Always. There's always more awareness. Our awareness expands as we choose more and we play more and we seek for more. And like our awareness grows and grows every day if you're choosing that. And that's also part of why you need to be asking more and more all the time. Who does this belong to? Is this mine? Is this just awareness of an energy, or is it actually my emotion, my experience, etc.? So as we do that, so that kind of awareness, it's very fast. You might notice that's happening with me right now as I talk about it. I'm like, there's so many things coming into my world, and I get excited about it because it's really fun for me to share this with people. For me, this was one of the most liberating conversations, and it weaves its way through everything that I do, how I am with my body, how I am in business, with money in my life, with my relationships, with the earth, like how I move through my days, how I function. So this acknowledgement of how aware I am, and me continuing to acknowledge how aware I am, it's kind of a like fundamental aspect of who I be, what I be, like how I am with myself, So I don't tend to go into a lot of emotions and thoughts and feelings and stuff like, oh my gosh, oh, it's so heavy, da 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 da, because I know that it isn't mine. And we say 99% of your thoughts, feelings, and emotions are not yours. Um, and it's probably more like 99 million percent. And so we can use this tool to acknowledge, remind ourselves, oh, I'm aware, and then, move into the world in such a way that, like, where we're functioning from the awareness, which is the truth of us. It's actually what's going on, rather than the diminishment of us. That is, we make it about our thoughts and feelings and emotions and all that stuff. Like, and so, okay, so where do I want to go with this? There's a million different directions. Well, first of all, I just want to invite you to really like to use this tool, whether you've used it ever before, heard of it before, maybe you know it and you're like, yeah, nothing's mine. But I spoke about that in, I think, yesterday on the Who Does This Belong To, or the first day, I don't know. You can join if you'd like to join that free week. It's happening in a Telegram chat. I'm just dropping videos every day. They're about 10 minutes long. The first one is on YouTube, so you can find it there if you would like. But all the rest of them are in Telegram, and then later we'll upload them to YouTube once it's over. But you can go to heathernichols.com/who to have access to that. And, if you're listening to this way later, well, that'll probably forward to like a YouTube playlist or something like that. We'll see. But use like, so if you struggle with any sort of mental health stuff, and this can also be really dynamic with body stuff, like body pain or judgment of our bodies, so many different, like even illness. Like, it's amazing how energetic we are. So we can even take on other people's energetic realities in their bodies, and it can show up in the form of illness, like sensations in our body, relationship stuff. I mean, this weaves its way through every area of our lives. And a lot of what we're trying to do is normalize ourselves so that we aren't as different as we are, because we have had millennia, and more, being creatures in the universe, or if you even want to just look at this planet, like being on this planet and being having the awareness, like, distracted out of us in a way, like distracting ourselves from it into the things that make you controllable, like having a lot of emotions, having a lot of drama, having a lot of reactivity to your life, to people in your life, and just, yeah, being controlled, being controllable by judgment, basically. And when you start to free yourself, when you start to really embody who does this belong to, you're like, yeah, it's not mine. I'm aware. And for some people, they don't want to be that aware. That might be the first step, and beyond that is the acknowledgement of is the exploration and the curiosity of, wow, I am so aware. I'm so much more aware than most people. And how did I get so lucky? And how can I use that to my advantage? This is where we go with the X-Men classes and the X-Men conversations. And I'm going to be doing a couple of those coming up in October. I have a 2-part telecall on X-Men and personalities. And then I also have a 2-day X-Men class, which is going to be done over 4 days, because it's 2 days, but it's 4 days. It's 4 half days. I think it's at the end of October. We'll link them down below or up above or wherever you see this. But those explorations are where kind of this is kind of like the starting point, is like, okay, I'm not depressed, anxious, angry, pissed off, fearful, doubtful, pathetic, like whatever your favorite flavor is, because we all have our favorite flavors. Like for me, it's been a lot of doubt. That's been a big one, is doubting myself. Um, I don't tend to do a lot of fear. I don't tend to do a lot of anger or like blame. Those are kind of different, like, different flavors, right? My flavor has been more doubt. And that's a simplification, but just to kind of demonstrate the point, but but on that note, actually, we do tend to be drawn to people that match those flavors, so we tend to surround ourselves with people that have similar stuff going on, and then we kind of like solidify all that stuff as into our own worlds even more, rather than being so different that we're like, oh, I'm aware. Now, what can I do to use that awareness to my advantage? And this is the exploration of, are you disabled? Are you disempowered? Are you fucked up? Or are you actually brilliant, highly capable, highly intelligent, really intelligent in an energetic way, which is actually the greatest intelligence, I would say, because it's not about your mind, it's about your awareness. And when you follow energy and you follow your awareness, the energy never lies. The energy never lies. We lie to ourselves to try to create distance and autonomy from those energies, from the forces and sources of energy in the universe that are here to contribute to us and to create a greater future. We autonomize ourselves, and that's a big conversation in Access Consciousness right now, is creating autonomy. It's this valuable thing in this reality, but it's actually a separation from the universe, your awareness, other people, all the things that can contribute to you, the earth, your body. Like, you create yourself as this separate thing. And in order to do that, you have to solidify thoughts, feelings, emotions, mental illness, whatever it is, emotional, psychological challenges, physical challenges, relational challenges, to make yourself relevant, real, and true in this reality. If you're willing to go beyond that, then how other people relate to you, it doesn't really matter. It's not relevant to you. You become free in a way that actually is quite threatening to a lot of people. And then, the beautiful thing is, we have these incredible tools in Access Consciousness that allow us to have that freedom, like to actually be like, oh, somebody's pissed off that I actually am getting greater, and I have less separation, less autonomy, more energetic awareness, more of me, more communion, more oneness, more access to the energetics of things, which is what's actually true. And people are getting a little uncomfortable, and what happens is the people around you turn up their judgments of you, and they try harder to control you, which takes you out of, if you are distractible by that, it takes you out of the space of you that these tools provide, and right into the muck and the cesspool of this reality, which is all about trauma and drama. Have you noticed? It's all about trauma and drama. If you're not doing trauma and drama, you better find something quick to have trauma and drama about, because the longer you go without it, the less relevant you are in the world. And, the distraction around of, like, the way that we distract ourselves with that is like, oh, well, if I don't fit, then I won't have clients, I won't get a job, nobody will understand me, I won't have relationships, I won't. The opposite is actually what tends to show up. As your life becomes greater, you become more connected to people in a energetic way, in a way that actually works for you, and you become more of a gift to the world. You become more creative. You have access to awareness of the future that other people won't give themselves access to, that is unique to you. That is your superpower. And from there, you really can start to create a different reality for yourself and, in the world and as a future. And that encompasses all of those like areas of life where we tend to kind of focus, where we want to have change. So this little sweet little tool, who does this belong to, is, to me, you open the door to that tool, and you open the door to the energetics of what's true for you, acknowledging you as an infinite being, acknowledging you as a very aware creature, and really diving into a completely different reality, a completely different way of being, a way of functioning that is about receiving and acknowledging you're an energetic creature on this planet. We have communion with the earth, with the universe, with each other, with creation, with all of the energetic aspects of, what's available, what's possible out there. And we refuse that all day long, every day, by thinking that our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, the trauma, drama, upset, intrigue of the world is actually ours. It's gonna go on in the world. It's going to show up. It's going to happen. But don't we don't have to buy it. And when someone in your world is having a big thingy, like a big to do or whatever, a big upset, you being the space of not buying it as yours, not buying it even as true for them, is a huge contribution. People may or may not receive that. What if that doesn't matter? What if people are going to judge you no matter what? And what I found is people judge you more the more spacious you become, the more uncontrollable you become. I've had so many people like absolutely reject me. People who were dear friends of mine, people who I have like taken classes with me and received massive, massive change and contribution. And those people, a lot, like I've had quite a lot of people just completely reject me. Uh, and the funny thing is I adore them still. Like I'm like, I still see them as the infinite being that I see them at, like that I know that they are, that is a wonderful creature who happens to be buying some points of view and doing some separation. And it doesn't make me better than them or greater or superior. It's just I choose to function from communion as much as I can. I'm not perfect. I don't have it mastered. There is no mastery. But I do choose, I use these tools every day. I choose these spaces every day and explore possibility. Because you can either buy all of that stuff as true and be sucked down by it and become part of the cesspool of the world that is so broken that it just needs to be completely redone. You can be the energetic creature that is so different in the world that what you be, even if you're not talking to anybody, not doing anything, just sitting in your house by yourself, but being a different space with you, your body, the world, creation, that ripples and ripples and ripples and ripples and ripples into a different future. And we all go through our phases and have our moments, and I absolutely have. And there's something about the past year of my life that's been, I really kind of had to take a lot of things apart, and just kind of like have a moment. I needed to have a little moment with myself, which was actually really generative. And now it's like, wow, I know what I'm up to. I know what I'm here for. And I know it in ways that I could never possibly put into words, and in ways that I will never doubt again. Like, I know where I'm going and what I'm up to and what I would like to create. I also know that it will be created, and it's not about me. It's about what is greater for the world and what I bring as communion, what I bring to that as an infinite being who has a uniqueness that we all have. Each one of us has a uniqueness. And, just to give a little plug again for the X-Men conversations, and really, really more of an invitation. It's not about the plug, it's about the invitation, because I love those conversations. That is where you truly get to start to explore the incredible difference of you and the gift and the contribution that is in the world, and how everywhere that you think you are fucked up is actually your greatness. You start to flip everything on its head and unveil your greatness to you. And that's like, you're the most important person to know that. It doesn't really matter if other people see it or not. It really doesn't when it comes down to it. That's basically irrelevant. And when other people truly see you as an infinite being and acknowledge you as a brilliant being, that is a gift of magnitude. But when you don't need it or require it, it's not about validation. It's about acknowledgement and communion, different space. And the way that we get there is by giving ourselves the gift of that, the acknowledgement of us as a unique creature, as somebody who is so different and so aware and so spacious, and so actually has the choice for ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory, the Access Consciousness mantra. When we start to function from that truly more and more every day, that is, we begin to cultivate this magical, incredible garden that flourishes in our own world, no matter what's going on around us. And wow, the gift of that can never be taken from you. Even if you die as a being, that can never be taken from you. You have it. It's one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself, the earth, the world, your body, your future. So, yeah, just that from Who Does This Belong To? And there's a lot of other tools that I've woven through as well. But I hope this was a contribution to you. Please, if it was, share it, pass it along. Join our Who Does This Belong To challenge. You can jump in even if it's over, and we'll probably still be playing in there. If not, I have another a main Telegram chat. heathernichols.com/Telegram will take you to the main chat that's always ongoing. That's also where we post the podcasts every week, and all kinds of other goodies in there. People can ask questions and that kind of stuff. So lots of resources, and you are the greatest resource that you have. What would it take for you to know that, to be it, to live it, and for all of us to create a different future from that? So thank you so much. Have a beautiful day. Bye for now. Thank you for joining me for the Entrepreneurial Biome podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and subscribe. For more resources, check out my website at heathernichols.com and my social media channels as well. Have a beautiful day, and remember that your business thrives when you do.